Hi everyone, my name is Sarah Harris and welcome to my vlog. It's summertime, and considering it's summertime and I train a lot of golfers, I thought what a great opportunity to talk to you about golf-specific training and why it's imperative for not only golf performance, but also injury prevention. Paul Chek in his book, Hole-in-One Golf Conditioning, offers some statistics about injury. So at any given time, 30% of professional golfers are playing injured, 53% of male amateur golfers and 45% of female amateur golfers are suffering from lower back pain. Not to mention, when you look at the golf swing, it's understandable why people suffer from injuries. Basically, you're putting 90% maximal force generation through all the joints of the body, in particularly the spine. So, and not only that, you're doing it 30 to 40 times in a game in a bent position and rotation, which again puts a lot of load on the spine. Let's talk about what a golf-specific conditioning program consists of. There's 4 elements. Number 1, flexibility. This is something I always work with myself and my clients. Flexibility is super important for not only optimal range of motion with rotation, but also it's going to decompress the joints so we're not compressing the joints and making them irritated. Number 2, we have stability. So Paul in his book again talks about how if we don't have core stability, tying our upper body and lower body together, it's kind of like we're shooting a cannon out of a canoe. We're not going to have very good accuracy, and also again, the core naturally suspends our spine, so we have a nice decompressed spine as we're going through that rotation. Number 3 is we want to choose exercises and movement patterns that basically facilitate greater strength and power within the golf swing. And number 4, we will always want to consider posture. So we have static posture, which is how we stand and sit, but we also have dynamic posture. So we want to consider that when we're going through that golf swing, that we have a nice alignment of the joints, so we're not shearing at any level of the spine or joint capsules of the body. I'm not going to be able to discuss all the components of the golf conditioning program today. Additionally, if you're a golfer, it's really important to see someone and get a proper assessment and exercise program, because we are all different. So many of us have different levels of restrictions in the body. We have different levels of core ability and also movement patterns. So it's really important to hire someone like myself or another highly skilled professional. The Chek Institute has some, or other personal trainers that are skilled in golf. So really important to get that assessment and customized program for you. In the meantime though, today what I'd like to offer you is a very simple warm-up that you can do in the clubhouse just before golf. It's going to mobilize the joints, but also get your nervous system ramped up for a great game. So let's get started. After we do that, I'm also going to offer 2 exercises that are going to help you identify any restrictions in your lower body in rotation or any restrictions in your upper body in rotation. So we'll do all of that. So find a comfortable space. We're going to just separate the feet. Okay, you're going to think about a nice tall spine, and you're going to come into your breathing. We want to breathe into our ribs, waist, and pelvis. Okay, we're going to start by rolling the ankles. So this is really important, especially when you're in the rough, that we have that mobility at the ankles. If it's not there, it's going to go into other joints and overcompensate at other joints, and that's not good. And it was interesting, because I was watching Mickelson in his last game a few weeks ago, and he was in the rough, and they actually zoomed in on his ankle to see how much rotation he had to basically get out of the rough. So we want to make sure that we have really good mobility at the ankle joint. We're going to now move on to the hips. So you're going to start with a small circle, and what this does is it kind of warms up the ball and socket joint, and then you start to bring bigger circles. Okay, and you want to try and maintain an upright spine as you do this. And please don't do this if you have pain. And if you have pain, this is a good indication that you do need that assessment or you need to see a physical therapist. Okay, and then each rotation gets bigger and wider, and you're noticing if any restrictions. I'm feeling a little bit on my right today. Okay, and then you're going to go the opposite way. You're going to start small. Okay, and then you're going to start to go bigger. Maintaining that upright spine, breathing deeply. Okay. Okay, so you do as many of those as you like. The next one we're going to do is internal hip rotation, which again is very important. So you're going to take your hip in and drop your knee, but you're going to start with a small range of motion. Okay, and then you're going to increase the range of motion. What you don't want to do is let that hip swing out. You just want to get that hip in and that knee in and that ankle in without losing the stability of your left leg here. Okay? Now what this does is it opens up the SI joint, it opens up the bones of the pelvis a little bit. Okay? And it shouldn't be anything aggressive, these things. Remember, it's very gentle. You don't need a lot. If you start pushing it too far, that's when your body starts to get tight again. So we want to keep everything loosey-goosey. Okay? Now let's try the other side. And again, you can notice your range of motion. You might feel more sticky on one side than the other. Each successive pattern, you're building up a little bit more mobility by bending the knee more, bringing the hip in. Now we're going to go into the shoulder. So we're going to do a shoulder clock. What you're going to do is you're going to bring your shoulders up and then drop them down. Okay, so we're going to go to noon and then 6 p.m. if our shoulders were like a clock. Going up and down. Inhaling, exhaling. Now we're going to go to 3 and 9. 3 and 9. After you've done that a few times, you're going to go all the way around. So we're going to do shoulder clocks all the way around. Additionally, you just want to feel your scapula move across your back. Do as many as you feel liberates your shoulder and your shoulder blades. Okay? And then lastly, one of the greatest things that Evan Oster taught me at the Integrated Movement Specialist in Chicago is hip hinging. Where more importantly is hip hinging more important than the golf game? So, and what I noticed watching golf is many of the professional golfers are actually stuck in this position in a posterior tilt. They can't sit back in their hips very well. A lot of them anyway that I could see. So what you're going to do is you're going to bring your hands up like you're holding a tray, because that will keep your shoulders and collarbones nice and wide. And all you're going to do is slowly inhale at your hips and exhale. Now again, if this is painful, don't do it, and actually seek out definitely someone to help you with this, because this is a very big pattern in golf that we want to make sure that we do right. We want to make sure that we're pulling the back of the rib cage up and the front of the rib cage down, and just gently feeling like your spine gets longer as you inhale forward, exhale back. And each successive one, again, we want to see that we get a little bit further. Now, if you're blocked in this, adequate range of motion for this is 50 degrees. So if you're blocked in this, again, you definitely want to have some sort of flexibility program. Okay, so that is your warm-up. Now let's move on to some rotational tests, because my next vlog will give you some mobility exercises to loosen if you're tight in the hips or in the shoulders and core. So what we're going to do is we're going to step the feet together, hands on the hips. You're going to take a deep breath in, and then you're going to rotate your hips to the right and you're going to hold. So as you hold, you're going to notice the range of motion from here, not from your shoulders. So it's from here. And you're also going to notice if you side bend or do anything weird with your upper body. Then you're going to go over to the other side. You're going to hold. And then come back to center. Always hold in the middle so you can reset. Then we're going to go to the right again. You're going to see today, again, my right hip is telling me I'm a little restricted. And then we're going to go to the left. Okay? So if you're feeling any restrictions there, just take note. And next week I will show you the mobilization for that exercise. Now let's move on to the upper body. You can do this from standing, but I think it's better to do it from seated, unless you've got really good body awareness, because we just want to shut down the hips and not have to worry about rotating through there. You're going to bring your hands across your shoulders. Now, it's best to lift your elbows up. If you can't, you can keep them down, but if you feel like you can't lift up through here, there could be something going on in your neck and shoulders. So what you're going to do is you're going to slowly rotate to your right, you're going to hold, and then you're going to come back to center. You're going to rotate to your left and hold and come back to center. So you're looking for your range of motion, but also if there's any sticky areas. So when I go to my left, I can feel sort of my mid-back, there's some tension there. So that's always good to note. So there you go. These are we did the warm-up today. I showed you a few tests. Keep that in mind, because in my second vlog, we're going to address those restrictions with some Feldenkrais energy mobilization exercises, which will free up your hips and shoulders and rib cage. If you found this helpful, please forward it on to anybody that is a golfer, because to me, this is so imperative that we can optimize our golf swing with an exercise program, but also prevent injury. And I will see you next time.